One of my favorite things to do on my adventures. Get up in the morning, find some type of a high point of view spot, get up on top of it and just soak it all in. Watch the sun as it comes up. It's been coming up over the mountains over here, shining out over this beautiful red desert that I'm looking past over there, and those are life-changing views. Those are the type of views that you see and you immediately start planning, how do I get back to see views like this? Check it out. Saturday morning early, and I'm up just watching the sunrise up over this ridge over here, and the view behind me is amazing. And then up here there's just this incredible huge boulder field. I'm definitely gonna come back to this site again. It's so beautiful, the views are incredible. I've not seen another vehicle, and I love that this boulder field here, the kids playing this like all day. This would actually be a really fun spot to come and camp maybe a night or two and just do a bunch of exploring around the area, more base style camping. But it is a beautiful morning. It's nice and crisp, but it's not too cold. Just watching that sunrise come up and just gonna really take in all of the beauty that this has this morning, and just enjoy being out here in the desert in the spring. I know I mentioned this a little bit yesterday, but one of the things that's so cool about this area is, you know, this is like a big looping trail that I've passed by probably a dozen or more times, just because I've been like, usually I'm going like, hey, I want to connect this road to this road to this road type of a thing. And I was looking on the map and looked at this. I'm like, man, this is probably it probably has some pretty cool places to explore, just based on, you know, when I could look at the, you know, geography of it and stuff like that, and the elevation changes and just the curviness of the roads and tracks. And I thought, hey, I got to come back and check this out. And this has been absolutely just incredible. I've loved every second of this adventure so far. Right now, just hanging out around camp, working on some breakfast. I've got some sausage just sizzling, just about ready to throw some eggs on there to kind of finish up the breakfast sandwiches. But, you know, I don't love to cook, but if I could cook with a view like this every day, I might just take it up. I like to have a nice runny yolk. Oh yeah, perfect. Spill all across the sandwich. Double patty, pepper jack cheese. Nice runny yolk in there to soften things up. My favorite way to eat a breakfast sandwich. Got the GX all packed up, and it's just a few minutes after 9 a.m. and man, I gotta say, when you've got views and trail ahead of you like what I've got today, you're just anxious to get back out on it. So let's get going. We just finished up the loop that we've been working on since yesterday, and man, it was really neat. We're gonna jump back on more cutoff road and head a little bit further east, and then we're gonna jump back on the dirt and head south. Eventually we'll go underneath I-70. I always kind of designate I-70 as like the cut between the north part of the swell and the south part of the swell. We're gonna dive deeper into the south part of the swell for a little bit and do some exploring on some trails that I've never been on, and if they are even half as good as what we've seen so far, I know it's gonna be excellent. I was just cruising down this wash and I ran across this, and I love finding cool things with, you know, a lot of the old cattle and farm history that's in this area. There's always cattle out here grazing. This isn't super old. My guess is there was either a seep or possibly just a water truck that was brought by and filled this up, but now it's just full of dirt and overrun. But check this thing out. Cruising along again and just spotted this. I have no idea what it is. It looks like vent shafts. I don't know. It's definitely wood here from an old structure. So just based on kind of the age of the things, like the nails and stuff, my guess is that this is some type of uranium mining leftovers, you know, buildings or something like that related to it. There's a lot of uranium mining that took place in this area. There's a few abandoned mines, so I've got to think it has to do something with that. But I am going to try to look it up and see if I can find anything about it. If you know and you've been here, jump in the comments and let me know, because I love running across stuff like this. It's so cool because, you know, it's really beautiful out here. Oh, hey, what is that? I see something else now just sitting in the car here. If you know what it is, let me know. I love running across stuff like this because it's cool just seeing this wilderness, but running across some mining heritage. Oh yeah, there's totally something up there. Well, back at it. Awesome. More structure there. Check this out. That's awesome. Obviously stuff like this you want to leave. People can come and enjoy it for themselves. But there's a bunch of this, some more all throughout this area. There's a bunch of wood, some more metal right there. Be pretty interesting to come out here with a metal detector and just, you know, see what all's beeping. Pretty cool. Tons of wood here. My assumption is whatever this structure was quite big at one point in time, because there's just a lot of wood strewn throughout this entire area. So I wouldn't be surprised if there would have been a couple buildings and things like that, just based on how much there is. And it's not far from those other structures over there that I'd stopped and looked at. So man, what a treat. This is really cool.
this wash is not what I was expecting. I thought it'd be a little bit slower moving because it is so curvy, but it has been really fast moving. And I'm honestly just struck. Like, I don't know how I've never been on this. I don't know how I've never really even noticed it before. It's awesome. I'm having so much fun, and it's beautiful. There's some really, cool areas of this wash that are just so scenic, and it's an absolute blast to drive. And it's this type of, exploring and driving that honestly is probably at the top of my list. It's remote and beautiful, and just, I'm in heaven right now.
On my map, all that this little spur trail said is that it had overlook, but I could tell from the mapping that down below me is that Lucky Strike mine that I was visiting last year in the winter. There's a big group of people down there. It looks like they're in side-by-sides checking it out, and it's just amazing to have the view from everything up here. Take a look. Last winter I was here with the kids checking out the Lucky Strike mine there. Looks like there's a big group of people with side-by-sides. There's the cabin. The mine's probably just right underneath me. I don't feel like going and hanging over that ledge very badly, but check out this view. You guys, I know I say it all the time, but the view is just absolutely stunning. Looking out over Reds Canyon Wilderness, you can see the trail down there that I've driven on, which is an awesome road, but the view from up here, man, it is next level. It's a little bit windy, but man, I've got to come back and camp right here sometime. Just check out this view. You can see that bird circling below us. Holy cow, that is a cliff. I'm just so glad that I took the time to hit both of those spur trails. They both had just absolutely magnificent overlooks over Reds Canyon, and it just, the trail was all technical in a couple spots. Had to throw it in some 4 low for a little bit, and it just really, it's little spurs like that, in my opinion, that just kind of add that extra little icing on top of adventures. And definitely found a spot that I'm gonna have to come back to for sure for some camping as well. Man, just the history out here in this desert is just incredible, from farmers, homesteaders, pioneers, and then all of the Native American history for thousands and thousands of years. It's just, man, there's just so many stories to be told. This one about Henry Jensen is one that I'm gonna look up and learn a little bit more about. I've never heard of him. And it sounds like he was shot and killed out here while herding sheep, and it sounds like maybe it was from people staying in Robber's Roost who are trying to get people from sheep herding off of the mesa up here, probably just to kind of keep whatever they were doing a little bit more secret and with their whereabouts secret. So Interesting. I'm definitely interested in learning more about it. Just such a cool piece of history. Every time I turn in a new direction, I see something new and cool that I gotta check out. I'm always fascinated by mining history, and this is the Globe Copper Mine. There's a bunch of cool things. Looks like just some different buildings. This one is really quite well preserved. You can see a stovepipe sticking up out of the back, and it looks really similar to those three. I thought they were ventilation pipes. I guess you could call a stovepipe a ventilation pipe, but anyways, I wonder if there were some buildings like this that just over time have been buried underneath the ground, because it looked awfully similar to these. There's a little fireplace in there. Man, this is really cool. Clearly some type of a rock structure. Not much left of it at this point, but that's pretty cool too. So I'm not sure if this is wood left over from original buildings or why it's all gathered here and it's fenced off, but looks like there were some placards that maybe explain things earlier. Pretty cool. Definitely going to be researching this when I get back too. So I know mining was a tough life, but if I had to mine somewhere and I had a backdrop like this, that'd certainly help a little bit. Found this cool little arch over here. There's a trail that keeps going this way. I'm not sure, you have to walk it. This might be something we're gonna have to mark and definitely come back when I have more time where I can go and hike it out. I don't know how far it goes, I don't know anything about it. I just saw that there was a trailhead sign, but it doesn't say anything. So, man, some really, really cool things in this little section of this trail. Look at what I found. A little geocache. It's pretty awesome. I just noticed this little crevice and it happens to have a geocache in it, so signed it. Should have left something, but I don't have anything with me. Keep your eyes open, you never know what you're gonna see. See I-70 up there. I do think I go underneath it, need to backtrack a ways until I can jump on it. My plan was to go underneath I-70 and then do another about 45-50 miles of dirt,
because it's a trail I've never been on and it's already almost 6 o'clock, I am going to have to come back. I feel like these trails have been so fun, but they've been significantly slower paced than I was anticipating, which is totally fine. But the idea of taking on 200 miles this weekend, where I only did, basically 40 or 50 yesterday, and it's just not enough. I'm just not covering enough miles to finish out the rest of what I had planned, but that just gives me a really good excuse to come back.